firefly is a small, flying insect that produces a bright light. When Kingston's Tay Fisher steps on a basketball court for the Harlem Globetrotters, his infectious smile, along with his meticulously honed hoop skills, have lit up arenas all over the world. Tay is most certainly one of the best basketball players to ever come out of Kingston, New York. It is not just the championships and individual records that make Tay's story so special. It is where he came from, the places he has gone to, and what he gives back to his hometown. Firefly grew up on Kingston, New York's Van Buren Street, in the midst of dope pushers and crackheads. Right from his early childhood, he was determined to use basketball to spring him from the rough streets to the bright lights and huge stadiums across the globe. These days, when he gets a break from globetrotting, Tay returns home to conduct hoop clinics in Kingston and Albany. Recently at one of these hoop camps held at Coleman Gymnasium, I got a chance to watch Tay working with his young charges. He was also gracious enough to sit down with me and share his heart-lifting story. It is a story of a small in stature boy overcoming large odds. It is a story of hard work and determination, accumulating with a contract with the most famous basketball team in the world. His story is an example that all things are possible, and dreams really can come true. Tay Fisher, Rich Siegal,
Rich.
Good to see you. It's nice to get to sit down with you. We've been trying for a while.
Absolutely. I'm happy that you finally got this to happen, man. It's been a long time.
And you don't need much of an introduction. You're one of Kingston's finest, most famous people in Kingston. Tay is a Harlem Globetrotter currently.
Yes.
Grew up in Kingston, played his high school ball at Kingston, and went on to play at Siena College.
Yes.
And now a Harlem Globetrotter, also known as Firefly.
Yes.
Where'd that name come from, by the way, just before we get back to your background? Firefly.
They decided to call me Firefly because they say I light it up as soon as I get on the court.
Light it up.
Yeah, they've been following my career since high school up until Siena, and I did such an amazing job. They said as soon as you get on the court, you light it up with your shooting, your dribbling, your smile, so we're going to call you Firefly.
Nice.
At first I said,
Now you didn't like it?
No.
But then when
it grew on me,
you
though.
Light it up.
Yes.
I like it. It makes sense, and you do. Your smile is contagious. You know,
Thanks.
you can see it out there with the kids. And today we're at your summer basketball camp.
Yes.
Giving back to the community that you've done for a few years now. And before we go down those roads, which we will, your career with the Globetrotters, Siena, your relationship to Kingston. Let's start with Kingston, where you grew up. Van Buren Street.
Yes.
Say. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Kingston, a little kid.
It was tough. It was tough growing up on Van Buren Street, especially where I was living at. A lot of drug dealers, a lot of, sorry for the word, but crackheads, a lot of bad people. But that was the way I lived. I didn't personally live like that, but that's how I thought life was. I thought it was like that because that's how Van Buren was, and a lot of people from New York City were coming there. Maybe they were running from the cops or something. There was a lot of different issues that I had to go through being on Van Buren Street, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't trade that for the world. Would I love to live there right now in those type of circumstances? No. But it made me the person I am today, and I'm happy that I was able to go through that.
As a kid, I'm assuming that basketball was the escape from Van Buren Street?
Absolutely. I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club every single day, all day, as a way to get away from Van Buren Street. Because my family and my mom, my dad, they knew it wasn't the right place to live, but that was where we were able to afford at the time.
And so your mom and dad were together and still are together?
Yes, and they still are together, and that's a beautiful thing.
That's a good foundation.
And a lot of these kids always think I can't relate to them because they think all I've done is succeeded in my life, and that I didn't grow up in those type of circumstances. And I have to let them know it wasn't always peaches and cream for me. And when I explained to them about the struggles I had to go through as well, they start to see, you know what, Tay maybe did go through it. And I think I'm able to connect with kids a lot more because of my growing up. And I'm definitely happy with that.
You see it out there, and we're going to have a lot of footage of you working with the kids at the camp. And
yes.
It's great stuff. Now, your work ethic is famous around. I mean, every coaches, talk to Coach Weinkoop, talk to Coach Kelder, talk to Chris Sesh, people from Kingston who have been involved. They talk all the time to me about how hard you worked as a kid and what you put into it. were you thinking as a kid, dreaming of having basketball as getting you away from, you've come back to Kingston, but getting you away, moving you away from Van Buren Street, and did you dream that as a kid?
I can't say I dreamed it. I just loved it. I just loved basketball.
So it was a labor of love more than just like a determination to get out or be better.
No, I just loved it. I loved going to the Boys and Girls Club. I loved being around my friends. I loved being active. I loved playing basketball. I didn't really start to enjoy it to the point that I wanted to possibly go to college and play professionally until I was probably 16 years old. And that's late, you know, compared to the kids that I have at camp now. I started as young as 6 years old. You know, I want them to start thinking about what they want to be when they grow up. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. The Boys and Girls Club made me the person I am. Growing up on Van Buren did as well. And it's just a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful thing.
And that work ethic, you see it in your, you know, with the Globetrotters, you have to make a half-court shot every night, or there's certain shots you got to make. I mean, thousands of shots, even as a kid. I mean, the dribbling. You're the Curly Neal of people way back know the Globetrotters, like I did as a kid and saw the Globetrotters in Madison Square Garden. You're him. You know, so the practice that went into getting there as a kid, you said it came out of a labor of love, but specifically, was it 12 hours a day? Was it every day before school? Let me shoot, you know, 1,000 jumpers. What was the work ethic like for you?
It was just a lot of practice. It was a lot of practice. I used to dribble outside of my house.
That's what I was going to say. Take a ball with you on the road when you went someplace and have the ball became part of your hand.
Yes, and just dribble. Trying to make dribbling moves on cars that were parked, obviously, you know, and I just loved it.
So you were outside. And anytime
at 12 o'clock in the morning.
The YMCA.
Yeah, 12 o'clock in the morning, you're dribbling my basketball. Neighbors will call the cops and tell them, can you please tell this kid to stop dribbling the basketball? So the cops will come over and say, now Tay, you know this lady is gonna complain. And I say, I'm sorry. But he said one day she's gonna appreciate that because you're out here dribbling all day.
You know that lady today?
Yeah, she's still over there.
She's still complaining? Well,
well, I don't go outside and dribble like that anymore. You know, because shoot, I need to get sleep now too. I'm not as young as I used to be.
You know, they tell us stories of Pete Maravich as a kid, not to stay that too long, but it was more his father pressured him. I don't know, you're familiar with Pistol Pete?
Yeah,
Maravich,
absolutely.
He always had a ball in his hand. And one of the best ball handlers ever that played in professional basketball, and like you, could have been Curly Neal or could have been you. But it was more his father was a coach and his father pressured it. It's interesting to hear you did it. Nobody was pressuring you. It came from within.
It came from within. You know, because my father I'm a big Knicks fan.
Yeah.
My father.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that they get better, and they are looking like they're getting better. But I grew up loving to watch basketball because of my father.
Yeah.
And he would always talk to me about, hey, look at his jump shot. Look how good he is. But without pressuring me.
Right. He just doing it as a friend and as
sometimes when you grow up, the things you grow up watching and seeing your parents do all the time, you end up starting to love it as well. And I think that's how the love of the game started for me.
Beautiful. And now, as a kid, all of that practice, all that work manifests itself as your star at Kingston. Start as a freshman, play 4 years, 3 sectional titles, all the records you can imagine. I was trying to go over with them. You don't have to list them exactly, but you have the most points of any Kingston player ever.
Yes.
The most three-pointers made of any Kingston player ever for a season, for a career.
Yes.
I'm talking about all of these things. Most assists.
I didn't pass the ball.
You shot all the time. You're like me.
You know what? You can't have all of those. You can't have all of those records passing the ball. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, because if you get in all the points and all those shots, but most free throws made, most free throws attempted also.
Yes.
So
most free throws made in
the
the most points scored in the game. Scored 61 points, and in that game I shot 24 times from the free throw line and made 22.
61 in the game, which
61
is a
in the
school
game.
record still.
Yes.
Okay,
yes, still a record. Though, like you mentioned, the most points scored in a career in Section 9, 2,119.
Wow.
Which passed great players like Elton Brand and Kenny Anderson. You know, a lot of greats.
Elton Brand from Peekskill, who played for the Clippers, I believe.
Absolutely.
Kenny Anderson was a great point guard for Georgia Tech. Just played for the Nets for a long time.
Yeah, he did.
Smooth player.
He did. There's
So Kingston, playing there.
Yes.
Who were the big influences there? Because you're going to go on to play at Siena. What would you say? You know, the Boys and Girls Club you mentioned.
Yes.
One of the big influences.
Chris Sesh was my mentor.
Just talking to him,
Yes.
he's out there in the gym. I love Chris.
He was my first mentor I ever had.
Great
Taught
guy.
me how to shoot the ball. Someone I needed in my life. And then came Mark Weinkoop, who is my partner with all my basketball camps. He made me go to JV practice.
Mark, by the way, has been a JV basketball coach
Yes.
for a long time at Kingston, assistant coach in the varsity. He's here today helping you with the
Absolutely.
camp also, so.
Yeah, because Chris Sesh told him about me, and I was scared to go out for the team. I was so used to Boys and Girls Club, I didn't want to play any other for no other team. No, I just loved to do what I was doing because I also was great at doing it at the Boys and Girls Club. It was comfort level. Yeah. So now going to JV in front of people I don't know, as the 13-year-old, and JV is kind of a high school level. I was still at Bailey Middle School, and I went. They had to drag me there, and I did extremely well. And that's when my love for the game blossomed. And I owe it, a lot of it, to Chris Sesh, Mark Weinkoop, and then came Ron Kelder. And I just continued to meet different people who was willing to help me make my next paths throughout my career.
You had the support, and
absolutely.
It's really nice.
You got to have support.
You mentioned those specific people, and you know that it still means a lot to you. And those people are in the gym today, here on an August day.
Yes.
Helping you run your summer basketball camp.
Yes.
Back, which we got again. I said before, we have a lot of nice film over we're going to show. Next is Siena. Division I, definitely, and nice time. You were basically sixth man there for 4 years, pretty much. You had a great career. I know the big highlight was in the NCAA tournament in your senior year, coming in against Vanderbilt, burying 6 3-pointers. I think did you miss one? You only took 6 for 6.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. I remember watching the game on TV. What'd that feel like?
It was an awesome feeling. Just going to a Division I school on a full scholarship was an accomplishment for me because academically I wasn't the best student. I didn't
you ended
know.
Up getting your degree?
Yes, but I didn't know how to apply my basketball skills and hard work on the court to the classroom. I just didn't know how to do it because I loved the game of basketball. I didn't particularly love school. I loved going to school. I loved going to school because I loved the friends. I loved the environment. Yep. But I didn't know how to bring that into the classroom until I got to Siena, because you have to be a student athlete.
Sure.
You know, that student has to come first. And I got a full scholarship, got my bachelor's degree in psychology, and a minor in education, and I learned how to do it on the court as well. Even though I'm not the best player that ever leaves Siena, or even in the top scoring list.
Famous.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right, though. I'm not on the scoring boards like I am for Kingston, but they appreciate me because I stayed loyal at Siena. When one of my coaches got fired, I stayed there, and I'm loyal to the program and love what I do there.
And that was appreciated there too. You're saying you understood being good to people and showing some loyalty. You were paid back. I don't mean financially, but you were paid back. In the feeling and the way they treated you.
Yes, and Siena has a strong community. That was one of the best things I loved about the school, because they take care of you even after your basketball career is over.
Now, while you're at Siena and you're done at Siena, the pro basketball career, thinking about it, you had said earlier in our conversation that the Globetrotters had been watching you.
Yes.
Was that something that you knew about right when during your senior year? Were you thinking about trying out for the NBA? Were you thinking about going to Europe? Tell us what happened with the Globetrotters, or how you transitioned from going to Siena to being with the Globetrotters.
I just wanted to play basketball and make some money. I worked so hard.
You wanted to do
and
it
I
for
wanted
a living.
to play. Yes, I wanted to play professionally, and I wanted to do it because I loved it. That was one of the things that I loved, and something that I wanted to just carry on until after I was done playing at Siena. I didn't know about the Harlem Globetrotters. To be honest with you, I knew nothing about the Harlem Globetrotters.
As a kid, you had never even seen the Globetrotters.
I didn't have, the.
Yeah, I got you. You didn't have the background like
I did.
Lark Lemon and.
I didn't have it, and I knew about tricks. That's the only thing I knew about Harlem Globetrotters.
They did tricks.
Yes, that's all I knew about them.
Right.
I wanted to play professionally overseas. Some things just didn't work out. And I honestly thought basketball was over for me, because I thought that was my avenue that I wanted to go.
The NBA, you were kind of sure that
Yes.
wasn't there for you.
Yes, and
But
that was
Europe,
and that was in
your
2008.
teammate in high school, Keith Simmons,
Yes.
played in Turkey and several places,
Yes.
correct? So,
Yes.
you know, Justin Robinson, by the way, too, playing. We got a nice picture of you, Justin Robinson, Keith.
Yes.
And
Anthony.
the young man, Anthony, he was just at
Yes.
my house the other night. But Anthony
yeah.
Gaines,
Yes,
he's a great
yes.
player and going. 4 best players probably to ever come out of Kingston. But we'll debate that on a different day. We're back to the Globetrotters and thinking about, okay, you wanted to play in Europe.
Yes. So I wanted to play in Europe. Nothing came my way. Globetrotters contacted me. This is 2008.
They contacted you.
Yes, they called me on my phone, and after I got done working out with my father in the car, and they wanted me to come out for a tryout.
So that's how they work. You
that's
come out
how
for
it
a
worked.
tryout. They got
Yes.
some other guys that they
Yes.
got in mind. It could be Firefly
Yes.
or somebody.
Absolutely.
Curly Neal, I'll
Absolutely.
call
Yeah.
him, because the magic guy. The guy, but again, Tay is the guy who makes all the long shots and dribbles around in
Yeah.
the show that the Globetrotters put on every night.
Yeah, so I went there. It was in Phoenix, Arizona, with a few other guys. I did extremely well, but they didn't have enough spots for one more person, which would have been me. So I didn't have anything.
So what they have you do there? See what you
It was
can do?
no,
dribbling, show me?
all basketball, nothing with tricks,
Nothing
because you
with
got to be a
tricks.
great basketball
Not like
player first.
Of course.
So it's all basketball, all
sounds
basketball.
interesting. Okay.
And I didn't make it because they didn't have any room for me, so I didn't have anything going on. So what did I do? I went back to school. So I went to the College of St. Rose,
I didn't
started
know
working.
that.
Yeah, started working on my master's for grades 1 through 6
Wanted
to be a
teach, right,
teacher.
which would be
Yes,
fantastic.
and
Is that what you're looking to do afterwards?
Yes, yes.
So I was going to get to that at the end, but that's it.
so I started doing that. I started doing that. Now it's 2009, so I'm like, okay, my basketball career is over. Maybe nobody wants me, but my teammates and all my friends say, don't give up.
Right.
Don't give up. Things don't work all the time when you want it to work.
Still thinking about Europe?
Absolutely.
Globetrotters
Globetrotters called
on the
me.
back of your mind.
They called
Globetrotters.
me again,
They called you again.
and they said, come back out and let's see what you got. We can possibly find a spot for you. I worked extremely hard. I did
You
better.
prepared
Yes,
for that
absolutely,
workout.
because I knew what to expect.
Right.
I did better than I did the first time, way better, because I didn't want to give up that dream.
And they probably could see in you the work ethic
Yes.
that you had put in that effort, and they could see the personality.
Yes.
So all of those things.
And it all worked out. It all mattered. Maybe that wasn't my time to go. Maybe that worked out for a reason, because that following year, 2009, then they said, we want you.
So from 2009 till
Until
today,
today, yep.
you were making a living
Yes.
playing basketball with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes.
And if somebody said, what was your break? My answer would be, I'm not even asking you to answer, was a lot of hard work all
Yes.
the way. There was no break. They just noticed you, the Globetrotters,
Mm-hmm.
and they called you. And your break was going to a tryout and showing them what you could do.
Yeah, yeah. And I worked extremely hard for that opportunity. And here I am today.
So playing for the Globetrotters, 7 years. Obviously, you've seen the world. That's why they're called the Globetrotters.
Yes.
An amazing band of basketball players that really, and for people who don't know, and a lot of the younger generation don't really understand the Globetrotters. They were a professional basketball team, started like in the 1940s.
1926.
Okay, Abe Saperstein.
Abe
I didn't
Saperstein.
even do it. I
Yes.
wasn't even researching on the Globetrotters. I just happened to know that. But morphed into, that's a fair word, into a more of an entertainment basketball where they play the same team every night, but they put on a show. And these are all great college ball players, some of them former pro ball players on the Globetrotters.
Yes.
And it's an entertainment thing. It's a basketball skill thing. You tell me, what's it like? I mean, traveling the world and entertaining people and playing basketball.
It's the best job ever. It's the best feeling ever. But it's very hard. I have to say that. Remember, I'm coming from competitive basketball. That's it. All I knew how to do was put that ball in the hole and work hard. Now
What's
I
it
have to
feel
learn.
like, the competitor in you.
Yes, but
and
you know
now
what?
You're an entertainer.
But that competitiveness never stops.
Right.
That regardless, I'm competitive even off the court because of what sports have taught me. Now, while I'm playing with the Globetrotters, I have to still put the ball in the hole, but I also have to learn tricks.
Right.
I couldn't even spin the ball on my finger.
Really?
All right? No,
So you
not
really
every
had to learn
basketball
the
player
tricks.
can spin the ball on their finger.
I played basketball and I couldn't do it good either. So.
I couldn't even spin the ball. Now I can do is spin the ball on my finger, spin the ball on my head. I can make half-court shots. I can flip the ball off my neck into the basket.
Just watch you put one on your back.
Yeah.
Bounce it off your head in the basket.
I
That's
can,
pretty cool.
but you know what that is? That's a lot of hard work.
Right.
Because learning how to be a Globetrotter is like learning basketball all over again.
Sure.
When I'm here teaching these kids, you got to dribble like this with your right hand. You got to do this. That's like how it was with the Globetrotters when I had veterans trying to teach me how to do things.
Average night you're in Europe, you're playing in front of 5,000 people, 10,000,
Easily.
2,000,
Easily.
19,000.
Easily, and it depends on where we're going. You know, we play at the Garden. We play at the Wembley Arena in London. We play
you are a
all
starter
over.
for the Globetrotters too.
Yes.
You're their guy. Firefly comes
Yes.
out, and you're the guy, and you do your dribbling thing.
Light it up right from the beginning.
How many long shots do you have to make in a game?
I mean, I don't know.
10?
Maybe.
How many do
Maybe.
you take? 12? You miss a couple. You got to miss a couple.
I mean,
I'm watching
we're-
out there
yeah.
4 in a row. in practice. So I don't know, but do you miss a couple?
I mean, we're all human, you know.
So it does happen.
But at the end of the day, we're great entertainers. We're great basketball players, and that's something that's hard for a lot of basketball players coming from competitive. They don't have that personality. They don't have that entertainment side to them. So you don't have the full package of being a Harlem Globetrotter. And the most rewarding part of my job is being able to put smiles on people's faces every single
Kids,
night.
the women, the guys,
Every night.
everybody.
Every
has a
night.
laugh.
There's days that we have bad days, but we have to go out there and give our hard-earned, the hard-earned money that people pay for to come watch us.
You really are. To me, it is like show business.
It is.
It's interesting. One of the questions I wanted to ask you was what it was like being a competitor and then being in the entertainment business. But they overlap.
Yeah.
Because an entertainer every night is competitive enough that they want to give their best.
Yes.
They're going to judge their performance. The winning and losing, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I would imagine is how well you perform that night, not so much what the scoreboard says.
Yes.
You had a good night and a win. If you
Yes.
made all your shots, you got 4 people to laugh harder than they normally do. You got the crowd into the
Yes.
game, and then that was a good night.
To me, my job as a Globetrotter is to go out there and give someone an experience that they're never going to forget. When I talk to you, you talk about Curly Nell because he must have did something that you remember.
Absolutely.
He must have,
was
even
a
whether you saw him in person or not,
I
you
saw
remember
him in person
something.
many times, 3 or 4 times.
You see?
Bald hair, great guy.
Yep.
Always had a smile on his face.
Yes.
Had the headband on, like you do when you
There
play.
you go.
And he was fun. He was an amazing dribbler. He got on his one hand and was
Yeah.
going around like you do.
Yeah.
He could shoot it any time on call and bury a 40-footer. I'll never forget him.
There you go. Those are the type of things I want people to remember about me.
And that's around the world.
That's around the world. That's around the world. I've been to 60 countries in my going
And
on
I know
8th
how
year.
hard you work at it.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
it's work, but seeing the world too, that's got to be a big part of it, isn't it? I'm sure you do a
it
lot
might
of
be
promotional
the
stuff.
It might be the best part of being a Globetrotter. I could have went to Europe and played in one country, maybe 2, depending on how long I want to play. I would have never been able to go to 60 countries. I'm able to see things that I've seen in textbooks as a young kid. If I want to be a teacher, I'm able to bring these videos and my experience to my kids, to my students, to people that have never seen it. I'm able to bring it to my mom and my dad. I've never experienced this before, and it's still counting. There's still other places I would love to go to.
7 years.
7 years.
You're how old now?
I'm 30.
And in your mind, you want to do the Globetrotter thing another 5 years? Just I know it's never sure, but what?
It all depends. You know, I like to do it as long as I can. I'm happy. I still love what I do, so it's hard to tell right now.
Is it a good living?
It is. It is. If I'm able to put smiles on people's faces, if I'm able to come back to my community and they're able to watch me play, it's a great living. Because I got 6-year-olds who love me, not based on what they see me do at Kingston or seen me do at Siena, but because they're able to watch me still play with the Globetrotters in Albany when we play, or at the Madison Square Garden or something. There's nothing better than that because I'm able to reach all different generations. And sometimes you can go overseas and get lost. People don't know you won championships, but at least with the Globetrotters, they're
One more thing
guaranteed
on
to
the
see me.
Globetrotters. Still the Washington Generals?
We don't play the Washington Generals no more.
What's the name of the team?
They're the World All-Stars.
The World All-Stars.
But at the
Have
end,
you lost a game since you've been here on the
man,
scoreboard?
I didn't lose. Let me tell you this. I didn't lose too many at Kingston. I didn't lose too many at Siena, so I might as well
Zero,
continue
though.
it here.
Zero.
It's 0. It's 0.
You're 458 and zeros. Most of the year you're traveling.
Yes. About 8 months out of the year.
8 months a year. You get breaks. You come back to Kingston all the time.
Yes.
You've been ran a basketball camp for the last how many years?
12 years.
12 years, and it's the Tay Fisher basketball camp.
Yes.
And today there's 30 kids in the gym or whatever working, and you've been in there working with them. We see you around. I see you in the gym, Mac, working out.
Yes.
You know, people see
Yeah, I
you all
did.
over the place. That's where we really officially bonded, let's say. I forced myself on you. You were very cool about it, but you're all over the place. It's the giving back to the community. It's amazing to see everybody in Kingston knows you and appreciates what you've done and what you do for the kids and what Kingston is still, you're proud for it to be your hometown. Tell us about that. What motivates you to give back as much as you do?
My goal as a kid growing up, I always wanted people to know where Kingston was. Not Kingston, Jamaica. I wanted people to know Kingston, New York, a small city, has great talent. And that's what I'm doing right now. Playing on CBS in the NCAA tournament, beating Vanderbilt in the NCAA tournament.
Thinking about Kingston.
Thinking about Kingston, because I wanted that commentator to say, from Kingston, New York, from Kingston, New York. Now I'm on the Globetrotters, it gets said every single day. From Kingston, New York, Firefly Fisher. I want people to know where Kingston is. So in order for me to let people know where Kingston is, I have to do my part on the court, but then I also got to come back to the community and let people know they can do this as well. If they can't do it on the court, at least the things I'm teaching them will help them off the court. Because like I said to you, that transition for me was hard, but that doesn't mean it has to be hard for everybody else, because I didn't have people telling me the things that I'm learning right now, like I'm telling these kids. And I think it's very important that people know that I have a camp that's been going on for 12 years. I started it as soon as I left high school. I got a breast cancer event where my campers play basketball to help raise money for breast cancer, and we give 100% of the proceeds to a foundation locally in the Hudson Valley. I have preseason workouts, I have shooting and dribbling clinic, I have a father-kid day that helps the fathers and the kids bond with each other. I have so much going on. If I don't do it, who else is gonna do it? And my goal is to make sure my campers grow up and then come back and help me give back to the youth as well, which a lot of these staff that I have here right now, they were campers at one point.
I noticed they were campers and they were players. And Dunlap, is that
Devon.
I remember he was a very good player.
Yes,
and
Devon,
I recognize a few
great player. I have another camp at Bailey right now. Justin Robinson's
Justin's over there. That's
Anthony Gaines is there.
Okay.
It's great to be able to do that
for you, not only, but so the giving back,
giving is important.
It comes naturally, and I see the passion in your face when you're out there talking to the kids, and the way they look back at you. You are sending a tremendous message that I'm from Kingston.
Yes.
I love it here. There's good people here. It's not always easy, but look what can be done.
What can be done.
And the reminder of the work that went into it, and the dedication that you displayed throughout your career and still do, is inspirational to these kids. You can see it.
That's my goal. That's my goal. I also have a camp at Troy High, which is right by Siena, because I want people to know.
You do that too.
I have that as well, and I had it last week. But that's to let people know, okay, you're not my hometown like Kingston is, but you made an impact on my life as well. And that's a great camp as well. Overall, I think this year I had 270 kids total.
And how many are going through this camp this year, would you guess? Kingston, is that what
Kingston?
Yeah.
I say probably 200 of them.
Okay, so
but remember,
270. So you got 500 kids in the summertime.
Now remember,
that's 1 year.
Now remember, this isn't just Kingston. You got New Paltz,
you got
Saugerties.
Right.
But that's even better, because now I'm not only hitting Kingston kids, but it's an amazing feeling. I also let people know I just finished my master's, but I had to do that while being on the road.
And that's in certification of teachers.
Yes. So right now I'm in the process of getting certified. So I have to go through New York State certification. But I got my master's. I'm happy with that. I worked on it while I was on the road. But that's letting kids know, if I can do it on the road, being gone 8 months out of the year, why can't you do it being around here every single day?
I know you got to know where you got to go where you get a job. Would you love to come back to Kingston and coach?
I would love to, but I don't know where life is going to bring me.
But that is in the back of your mind?
Absolutely.
You could see yourself teaching, coaching, because you're natural.
Thank you. I appreciate it. People don't know, but me doing these camps, I'm teaching right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Me doing with the Globetrotters, other than what we do on the court, people don't know. We go to schools, talk to kids, we go to hospitals, visit kids who need it. That's still teaching. I still have a variety of kids that are here, that's good, and then some that are here that need to get here. What's different than being in the classroom? I'm gonna have 30 of those kids, it's similar. So I have to teach the same type of levels, same type of way every single time. Yeah. So I'm doing that. Now, remember we talked about earlier, I didn't like school.
Right.
But I love learning. I love working with kids, and if I went through the struggles that I've been through to where I am right now, it's very important that I teach the kids from grades 1 through 6 how to do it, so by the time they get to high school, they won't have any problems.
I was a teacher for a little while, and I can completely relate. I was not a great student, but I loved teaching. I loved mentoring, and I loved learning, and I still love learning. Mm-hmm. So it's more about not kind of what student you were, but it's about your passion for learning and your ability to relate to kids and really have the energy and the passion, again, that it takes to motivate kids and get them there. You got it, Tay.
Thank you.
You are an amazing guy. We are really proud of you from Kingston, and it's not, you know, everybody recognizes it. You hear it in the street all the time, and whenever you're seen, my kids know who you are, and they just graduated from high school. We really appreciate that you gave us a chance to get inside your world a little bit and talk to you. It was a lot of fun, and also feel good situation. I thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate this, man.
You're the best.
Hey, and there's still a lot more to go.
We'll be talking to you over the years.
Talk to me in 10 years. I'll give you some different things.
Coaching and winning sectionals and everything. We'll be talking to you.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Tay.
Thank you.